All right, it's going live. You're live. Hello, everybody. Oh. Nobody's on. Oh, it's
what?
It focuses itself, and
it was blurry, and then it went.
Yeah, somebody's watching. Yeah.
So, can you tell me what it can see? Can it just see?
Yeah, that's far enough. We can't go any lower. A little higher would be good. Yep.
What? What?
Did you get that, Mom? Yes. I'm so hot right now. It's ridiculous. Single stand up. Hold enough up there. Mom, what do you think?
What's the good? Oh, get that? Are you going to have it around with that? 85 by 108. Yeah. No. You can leave it on.
It's that's choice so far.
I will get you one of the two you have this morning. It's free spirit.
Sarah, look at that one.
All right, so we're just waiting a minute. The quilting machine's done, and it's so peaceful and quiet in here when that machine turns off. But we're just waiting a minute to get a few more people on, and this should be a really quick week, and we'll get started in just a minute. GE Gudrun of Gudrun Designs. She has Mr. Honey Producer, and he puts a 5-minute countdown on the screen. But we're not quite up to that tech abilities. How's the camera? Are you only looking at me from here? Oh, well.
Stand up straight.
Is that call from today?
I have a phone call on today.
So we will
Oh,
be
okay.
starting in just a minute.
You're live.
Yes. Just so you know. We have had a little bit of a crazy day today. We started off with no power from 9 to like 11:30. So we had the sale last night, and I had quite a rousing response to that. But then we started the day with no power. So we've been a little playing catch up all day. And then all of a sudden we looked at the clock and we were like, it's 2 o'clock. We got to go. We got to get ready for this. And that's when the phone started ringing.
Again.
So we will get through this. And we turned the phone off for right now. So I'm sorry if you're calling right now. But you guys wouldn't be calling because you're watching the video. All right. So I'm hoping that this means, how many people do we have on, Anna?
11.
There's a number of people who can't watch until later. So we're just going to get started because I want these to be more like 30-minute videos. Okay. So first off, if you are still having trouble finding us or need any help, please call us at the store. The number is 315-846-5393. You also have, if you go on our Facebook page, when you open the page up, there is I'm going to open my page up so you can see this. There is a button at the top of the page that says visit group. If you click on that button, then it will send you to our mystery group. So it's called Stuck at Home So Long. I had the name a little crazy. And then you can sign in there. You can join that group if you haven't already. We have to approve your request and go in and do that. But we will only be letting people in that are part of this group, so that those are the only people that get this pattern and can watch the stuff. We were trying to load the files in there, but I'm not quite there to that point yet. So if you are trying to make comments on on YouTube too, one of the suggestions I found online was that if you're looking at YouTube on your phone, underneath the video is going to be some suggested videos for you to watch. If you scroll past all of those, the comments are below that, I guess. So that's how you can make comments. And Anna's looking at the comments now, and then I'll be looking at them back. We'll be switching back and forth to make sure we're answering any questions that we have. Is there anything, Anna, that we need to?
No.
Okay.
No, not right now.
I love that so many people are putting their pictures on the mystery group. That is so nice to see. And I love Barb Green's choice of Gewürztraminer. Yes, that is a very good choice, Barb. Very good choice. And it's so nice to see people interact and for everyone to see everybody's fabric colors. One of the ladies called today and she got our fabric, and then she substituted a background or a constant. I'm not sure which one. So it'll be interesting to see what she came up with and how awesome that looks. So even though we had 5 or 6 kit choices and there's 62 people, there will be enough variation within those that everybody will be happy. So I think we can really kind of get going today. It's a really easy one. You're going to need your 15.5 by 4.5 inch strips, and you're going to need your 3 inch by 4.5 inch background pieces. So if you saw today, your attachment is this, and I mean, look how easy this is. Okay, this is easy peasy. All right, so I'm going to trade with Anna because she's going to talk to you too about your 1/4 inch seam.
Oh, hello, ladies. Hello. So one thing that you're going to notice is when you put these together, do you see it all in the screen now?
Yes.
Okay. When you put these together, you're only adding 2 seams, but you could shorten your seam allowance if you don't have a 3/4 inch seam or a 3/4.
No,
No,
3/4
3/4. 1/4 inch seam. You know, it could only be a hair difference, but if it's across a lot of different seams, you can have a big difference there. So when you do that, you want to make sure, at least on your first one, that you know that your seams are going to be correct. So I would sew one onto both ends as you're instructed to, and I'm just finger pressing these because I haven't pressed my strips yet. And then we can turn this down so you can see. Yeah,
Oops. I just bumped the camera itself.
Yeah. I don't know if we're just gonna make sure. So when you do this, you're gonna want to make sure that your strip piece set comes out at 20.5 inches. And mine is gonna come out just right. It looks like I got a little extra in there, but I'll make it work across this whole seam. So we only have the 2 seams, but across some of the quilt that you might have more seams, and you really want to make sure that you're sewing with a 1/4 inch seam. And you want to take into account the stitching as 1/4 inch. So if you're sewing exactly at a 1/4 inch, when you fold that fabric over, you're going to take up more of the fabric so that you can then have more of a seam, and that's not what you want, especially when you go across multiple seams in a block. So this one is really a much easier quilt because you're only doing the 2 seams on this end, and you'll be able to tell faster if your seam is too wide or too thin. Again, this block, when you're done, you should have 16 of them, 16 different of your fat 1/4 choice colors, and then your 2 background pieces will be 20.5 inches. We did not take into account, and it is not pressed. It just tells you to press. I just press these out, and that should be okay in the final quilt. If you do want to press them open or in, it's for this one. Again, yeah, all you can do, once you have that first one and you know your seam is perfect, you can chain stitch, which just means, like, I have most of mine done because I knew what was there. Here's my 2 that I would take over to my sewing machine. I'm going to put them across here. Oh, it looks like I have a little bit of extra there. I'm going to balance it out between the 2. I'm going to sew across this, cut this one apart. The magic of cameras, right? And then we're going to stitch across this end, cut this apart. And then I'm going to stitch across here. I chain piece most of it because I don't want to waste all my thread, and I try to butt these up pretty close together because I don't want to have a tail here and a tail of thread here. Thread is money. It's not a lot of money, but I don't want to have to cut all those tails either. Anything else that you can think of, Sarah?
No, I don't think so.
So this step is a pretty easy one. I can lift them up too.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
So I got to pet all of my fabric choices. And these, you know, if I had to choose, I don't know which one I would have chosen. I really like the KFC I think it was the warm one I liked. But I'm okay that I got stuck with Zola. Zola is pretty. Backstitching. All right. I don't backstitch most of my quilts. When I am chain piecing, I absolutely do not. I have my my thread stitch count set at about, well, let's see, on my machine, my thread stitch count is at
The length?
2.1 on my Janome machine.
I go smaller than
Mom just said she goes smaller than that. What do you go smaller to?
that. Sometimes I go 1.8.
She says even down to 1.8. And that just means you have less stitches per inch. And you are, the smaller stitches means they will not separate as easily.
Right.
If you make smaller stitches, it won't separate as easily while you're handling each one. My machine is automatically set, I think it's set at 1.8, but it's too hard for me to see those stitches. I have really bad eyesight. So I usually go at about 2 to 2.1.
So the back stitching really isn't necessary as long as your stitch
length
is
isn't
shorter.
large.
Right. Sometimes there is a time or here and there where you might have to re-stitch something at the end, that it comes apart, but it very rarely does it happen. Now, around the outside of the quilt, when Anna finishes her quilts, she will go around the entire outside of her quilt and stitch all of the way around so that none of the pieces, when Dad's working on it, so that none of the pieces will come unhooked for the quilting machine.
I'll either stitch all the way around, or I did back stitch on this quilt. This quilt has no borders on it. So I back stitched at the beginning and at the end of each. Otherwise, the quilt's right there if you want to show them that stay stitch. I simply put a 1/4 inch seam all the way around.
Sorry, I can't.
Tip it back down, Anna. There you go. Now they can see it.
All the way around so that you can see it's going to go all the way across down into here. I went all the way around on this one. That one has a little bit of bias to it, and I just wanted to secure the edge a little bit more so that it was secure. And then I don't have issues. Did you just point out my seam? My lost corner.
All right,
No.
so that's really it today. Does anybody else have any other questions? I don't see anything coming. I just wrote a little message in there. You're just going to sew the background to both ends of your long 15.5 inch and press to have a final piece that is 20.5 by 4.5. I'm not really even sure you needed a video today, but
You got to see us.
You got to see us. Robbie, where are you? Oh,
You might.
the dog's underneath the table. That's what we keep hearing.
He must be upstairs.
Robbie must have disappeared on us. He doesn't want to be live.
Sophie does,
Hi,
though.
Sophie. Hi, Sophie
right.
girl.
All right, Sophie, tell everybody goodbye. Oh, don't lick my face. Bye,
I
Sophie.
know.
All right, goodbye. We'll see you next week.
What? Quick.
You want to be in the video?
Veronica wants to say hi to you.
Yeah, Veronica's not in this one, so.
Say
Hi.
hi, everybody.
And he's out.
Yep.
The Robbie has left the building.